The first time I'd been here was with the first person I'd ever fallen in love with. I had commented on a Facebook picture of his. Talking led to nervous giggles in the halls, which eventually led to countless hours of Skyping until our eyes would fall heavy with sleep. The cameras clicked on. We kissed in a stairwell while lightning cracked in the distance. There's a certain seductive beauty in the destructive tendencies of nature. We were inseparable from that night on, drunk on the presence of each other. And he would take me here at night. He showed me the burning city skyline, pulsating with life. We would talk about our past, our futures, about space, how insignificant we both truly were in the grand scheme of things, and how that almost made everything more beautiful. He set his camera up on the hood of his car, and we took pictures with our lips brushing against one another, the city flickering distantly behind us. He made me feel alive. But a storm closed in on the bubbling innocence of it all. I began to sink in a thick lake with no knowledge of how to swim, gradually disintegrating. And I became a poison he couldn't resist drinking. With each sip, I saw life slip away from his eyes a bit more. His need for self-preservation never really kicked in. I saw myself undoing him like a seamstress unhappy with her work. I couldn't stop myself. I was tumbling down a cliff and trivially grasping at everything I was crushing. But when I got to the bottom and looked back up at the path I had made, I didn't know what else to do besides walk away. So I did, and I left him in fragments behind me. And before long, he had found someone who would help him piece himself back together. I didn't realize until then that I had left fragmented bits of myself on that mountain too. So he took her to see the city skyline burn, and kissed her in front of its flickering flames. I drove up and down the mountain, covered in a blanket of night, trying to find some meaning to fill my emptiness. But the skyline was polluted with light. Space and all of the stars in it seemed to suffocate me. The snow came and stopped to rest on the city. His love bloomed as I carefully constructed a wall around my heart, all the while recklessly looking for anyone to break it down. I wanted so desperately to feel that spark of life that sent a wildfire through my veins. I dragged others up the mountain, knowing when I got to the top, it would be there. But all I ever found was silence. We would speak, but not of space, not of our futures. The sky looked bland. Lights blinked indifferently back at my unmoving face. My body no longer bursted with laughter and light and movement and music. The world was silent, and I was hearing its deafening roar at the top of the world. With another, but alone. I never saw the city burn again, and I never will. I've realized over time that we leave bits of ourselves lying about everywhere we go. Some pieces are large, and we can fill their absence. Others are small and unnoticeable. These pieces make up a path of you, bleeding from the moment you were born to the moment you learned to ride a bike, to the moment you first felt your heart break, and it stretches far into the future. The piece of the path you get to experience is where you are now. Running backwards along this path is unnatural and unfair. I'm still there, sitting on the hood of a car with a boy who I loved endlessly, body ablaze, eyes on fire, lungs heavy with hope and innocence. But I don't get to go back there. Forcing a memory to rematerialize itself is impossible. And that can hurt to realize. But what hurts more is placing yourself in a cage of expectations and never letting anyone live up to them, or even realize they were supposed to be looking for a key. Free yourself from the past, learn from it. You can fall, but you must always get up. Fill new rooms with laughter, see the city from new heights, learn what love means a million different times, and appreciate what you learned from the heartbreak a million times more. I learned to love my past for what it was and grow from the pain I caused myself. and the boy who taught me what the word love meant for the first time. He will always encompass that 16-year-old girl's heart that got consumed by the flames. But I let myself burn in the fire and only see the warmth for far too long, slowly turning to nothing more than ashes. But I picked myself up and learned the beauty of walking out the other side. Will you? Hi, don't leave yet. Thank you for sticking through that whole video. If you're still here, that means you watched the whole thing, which thank you so much, or you just kind of skipped ahead for some reason to this. So I just wanted to make a couple things clear. Number one, I was the shitty person in that relationship, so I'm by no means saying like, feel bad for me, pity me for being a shithead to somebody, and then like being upset about it afterwards. Like, I deserved every ounce of what happened to me afterwards. I was such a shitty person to him. It is not romantic what happened. It is not okay even what happened. I was horrible to him. And I've apologized for that since then. If you're watching this, I'm so sorry. I can never say that enough times. But it's not romantic to hurt people. It is, and I deserved basically everything that happened afterwards. So it was just kind of my story about what had happened to me, and it was a time where I was very confused, and I was 16, and first relationships are always hard, and I was in such a bad spot in my life, and he kind of got thrown into it in the middle of it. So I'm not asking for pity at all. That wasn't me being like, poor me, I hurt somebody and I got hurt too. No. It's just about growing from your past and improving because you realize you need to, not because somebody's trying to make you, I guess. Because I believe that's the only way you can improve on yourself, is not when somebody's trying to force you into it, but when you really see the value yourself. So that's number one thing. Number two thing, this was not me saying like, I want you back to that guy. It almost kind of seemed like that, like I missed him. Believe me, I love that kid to death. We don't talk that much anymore, which is understandable because he is happily in that same relationship I was talking about in there, which they are perfect for each other, and I would never want to disrupt that or disturb that. She seems amazing and lovely, and like they were made for each other. But I don't want to mess that up. That was not what this is about either. I'm also happily in a relationship. I love Colton so much. He is my world. And we are in such a healthy relationship. It genuinely was just about that time in my life and how I progressed from it. And there are still things sometimes that happen that I just get so stuck up on, and that's been my whole life, where I've just wallowed. I'm a wallower. I get sad, and I almost like being sad. It's weird. Whole nother video. But it's just about moving on with your life and not trying to make other people live up to your standards that, like, unreal expectations, I guess. So this is a bit rambly, I'm sorry. And if you're still watching after that, oh my god, leave me a comment, let's talk. You and I are like best friends now, you know everything about me. It's not true, but you know quite a bit. Cool, so this was like a really personal video. This is putting a lot of myself out there. So yeah, leave me a comment down below. Tell me about your first relationship. I want to know about your first love and like what happened. It's sad, right? Tell me like how long it took you to get over it. First relationships are rough because like you have your little relationships throughout middle school, and like I had my first, like, I call it puppy love relationship in middle school, and like, oh gosh, I was over the moon about him, but like my first time I fell in love was in high school, and it sucked because it hurts. And while it was happening, it was wonderful, don't get me wrong, but it hurts. Definitely hurts. That first heartbreak is like, oh, it's like a knife, you know, just like digging around. So tell me about it. Let's be sad together. No, let's reminisce together. Let's get over it together, you know, let's grow. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm gonna make some videos now, so if you see the same shirt, I just got it yesterday. I love it. I know it's like douchey and everybody has this, but like it's so comfy, and I got it in a large, so it's just like, oh, it's like a little blanket. I love it. A little starry blanket. So yeah, cool. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. Goodbye. It's like the outro that every YouTuber does, right? Am I in? Am I part of the cool kids?